Hello! Today I'm going to be teaching you about the not-so-secret 11 herbs and spices that I use to control my mech projects. But before I do, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already, so your subscription box can be filled up with budget mech goodness. Now on to the not-so-secret secret recipe. This is called a single pole, single throw switch, aka an on-off switch. The single pole is the single input, and the single throw is the one output or toggled position. It physically moves little metal bits into and out of contact with each other to make the magic happen. If there were two outputs or toggle positions, it would be a single pole, double throw switch. It's important to know that each of the outputs is separate from each other, so only one is activated at a time. But some really clever people decided to combine two switches into one package, called a double pole double throw switch. The single toggle controls both switches at the same time, and two outputs are activated at the same time. However, they are on separate circuits, so you can control two things at once. You can also send current into 4 separate directions. Today, we're going to be using this device to make a motor go in 2 separate directions. Now actually these come in 2 varieties. You have a toggle switch, in which when you press on the little switch, it will stay in the position you put it into. So it goes back and forth, and stays where you put it. And then there is the momentary switch, which when you push on it, you need to apply pressure on there to keep it in position, otherwise it will turn off all by itself. Now, for this project, first you're going to need the battery for your motor, the motor itself, 6 wires, preferably 3 red and 3 black so you don't get them all confused with each other. You will want to strip a 1/2 inch off one end and a 1/4 inch off the other end. That is so you can connect it to these female disconnects. Make sure that you use a gauge that matches the wire you're using, a pair of wire strippers, a wire crimping tool, your double pole double throw switch of your choice, and a flathead screwdriver about the size of your female disconnect. First thing you do is insert the 1/4 inch of your exposed wire into the blue sleeve of one of the female disconnects. Then you put the whole thing in the jaws of your crimping tool, making sure that it fits into one of the little circular grooves. When you squish your wire with the crimping tool, one of the little teeth should press it into one of the half-circle grooves. Now the wire is secured in place. Just put the screwdriver into the connector, that way it widens it a little bit so it can fit onto your switch's connectors. Repeat the process for the other 5 wires. Now to start off, put a black wire on one of the inputs. Put a red wire on the other input. Put a black wire on one of the outputs. Put the last black wire on a output diagonally across from it. And then put red wires on the remaining 2 outputs. Next, twist the 2 black output wires together. And then twist the 2 red output wires together. And we're all set to connect everything up to the motor and battery. Get your motor and connect it to the 2 outputs from the switch. It doesn't matter which way is which. And then connect the switch inputs to the battery. It doesn't really matter which way is which unless you get the inputs and outputs confused with each other. If you do that, you'll get a big spark and know it quite quickly. So now when you flick your switch, your motor should be going in two directions depending on which way you flip the switch. Huzzah! Well, you aren't just limited to a simple toggle switch you use with your hands. That's no fun at all. I've used a pedal that I 3D printed in order to control motors with my feet for my giant robot Marduk and my laser tag mech. You can also make a janky sort of joystick setup with two switches, very similar to early arcade games, where you have a central joystick which runs along linkages and sliders in order to toggle each switch either individually or together. I use it for the armpits for Marduk. You can even make a crazy 4-switch system, or 5 switches, like I did with my power armor to control the arm and the grabbing claw. So with some creative thinking, you can do quite a bit with just a simple double pull, double throw switch. If you do enjoy my content, be sure to like and subscribe, share it with others, and if they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. See you next time.